All right, man, it's time to get this baby torn down. Let's get her up on the tusk stand. This thing is my best friend when it comes to tearing stuff down or really just working on things, especially with a bike, because I kind of have mine modified to work with four-wheelers and stuff, but these stands are actually made for a bike. So I can't lift by the subframe here because there's no bolts in it. So we'll see if we can just grab one of the frame and get her on there. That'll work. All right, there we go. Well, it would seem we've got a balancing issue going on here. Not a problem. I've got hooks for this. If I can just have this stay for a moment. Throw the hooks in. All right, that should be nice and sturdy. First things first, let's get these plastics out of here. Uh-oh. Did I really just do that? KTM uses these self-tappers. I hope I didn't just strip this tank out. They're so tiny. They're like these little 6mm jobs. The head is only 6mm. Hopefully we'll be okay. But I accidentally had the tool on Titan. I guess we'll deal with that later. Let's get the rest of these out. If the air filter's in here. Nope. Get that tail light disconnected. Something kind of interesting and nice that I noticed on this KTM as I'm tearing it down is that the linkage is designed so that you don't have to hold the nut on the other side. So you can see this bolt up here is kind of like a half moon. So once that's slid in place, it won't spin. On this side of the shock, I don't think you have to hold that either. It just threads right on in there. And then over here, you can see it's the same thing with the linkage. It's like a half moon. So that's just a pretty nice design. Just little things I'm noticing as I'm tearing down this KTM, because this is one of the first KTMs that I've ever worked on. I'm usually working on Japanese bikes. And our swing arm nut is already loose, which is awesome. Hopefully this thing, oh, beautiful. You guys know I love my swing arm battles. This one was easy. We can get our forks out of here. So another thing I noticed on these triple clamps, they've got the tightening torque stamped right there on them. So just in case you don't know it, it's a lot harder for you to screw up. But I guarantee you there are still threads on forums of people asking what the tightening torque is on these triple clamps. Guaranteed. Speaking of idiots, there's a brand new scam on the market. That's right, guys. Introducing to you for July of the 2024 season, the review scam. The new thing I'm noticing is people taking my profile, using my picture, even pictures of my family. And they're making fake Facebook profiles. I'm sure they're making Instagram profiles and other things like that as well. But the ones that I've been seeing are the Facebook ones. Thanks to you guys who send me these things. Basically what they're doing is taking my reputation, making a fake profile, and then using the fake profile to leave positive reviews on bogus websites. So if you see any reviews with my picture, and usually they're pretty obvious, man. The verbiage that they use, they'll have a whole bunch of emojis and stuff like that. But basically, I'll throw a couple up on the screen that a subscriber sent me. They're saying, it's like a fake page for parts usually, and it'll be saying like, oh, this is a great company. I always use their parts. I was really skeptical to begin with, and now I absolutely love them. Fire emoji, fire emoji. I would never put that stuff. So just be on the lookout, guys. No matter how many of these bastards I crush, it's like playing whack-a-mole. You smash one of them and 10 more pop up. So you just have to be aware, man. If it seems too good to be true or there's weird verbiage or whatever, it's probably not me, especially on Facebook. I have almost no presence on Facebook. I do have one main page, which is like my personal one. I'm almost never on there. And then I have one page for the YouTube page, but it's probably not me if somebody's communicating to you through Facebook. And if you are, ask them if they'll do either a video chat or a phone call. If I'm selling anything or trying to do any kind of business on Facebook, I will do a video call or a phone call with you just so that you can verify it's me. All right, let's get back to the KTM. Goddamn scammers. All right, let's drop this down, make it a little bit easier to get our controls. And this is a hell of a wire harness for a dirt bike. Man, you can tell that the bearings are shot in this thing. It has like a notchy feeling. It's not smooth and it's kind of tight. So these will definitely need to be replaced. All right, well, we've got this thing torn down for the most part. There's a couple things here. There is this T-hose that runs through the frame, and I'm sure there's a technique to get that out. I'm not 100% sure how to get that out, but to be honest, it's getting a little bit late, and trying to get that out could result in a power tool accident or an injury, and we don't want that to happen. So I'll get that out on my own later. So short of getting out our bearing races, pretty much the frame is ready for powder coat. There is one thing. Up here, there is this one bolt that Mike had cut off. You can see it's supposed to look like that. It's for the radiator because he didn't think this frame was going to be used. So he just kind of cut that off because I think there was a stuck bolt. So I'll weld that on myself. All of my parts are laid out over here. The wheels actually look really nice. This front rim especially has a nice tire on it. and it's pretty nice. So these are actually, both the front and rear tire are probably going to go up for sale because I'm going to be running some aftermarket wheels on this build. We've got the seat right there. One of the seats will be for sale because I have 2 seats for this thing. Plastics, not sure I can really do anything with those. I've got the rear shock there, the tank. Now the tank I might replace because although that tank is good, I think I might resell that and then get a new one, only because these, I think the color is called natural. These natural tanks, they tend to kind of like, you can see the color is a little bit weird on it. They discolor, and I'm not sure that I could ever bring that back to looking like brand new. And since we want this thing to look new, I might just buy a new tank and sell that one on eBay. Not sure. Got the rear shock here. I'm going to be rebuilding that myself. I'm sure that's going to be a boatload of fun. Our subframe, swing arm, I still have to dismember some of that stuff, but for the most part, all this stuff is good. Up here, I've got the forks. I'll be rebuilding these myself as well. This is going to be a first time doing forks, so it should be a boatload of fun. And I'll bring you guys with me when I do that. I got our bars here, the little anti-vibe setup. I think that's actually factory. We've got our radiators. They're a little twisted up and beat up, so I'm going to see what it costs for a new set of radiators, possibly go aftermarket. We've got all the electrical stuff in here, our triple tree there, and our bolt bins here. I had these all laid out for different colors of zinc. I kind of decided I think I'm just going to make everything yellow zinc, which, I don't know, I think that just looks nice. And then the one that says potential scrap, that's actually for vapor blasting. That's like aluminum and stainless steel parts. And then I did save a few bits, if you will, parts that I don't plan to reuse, but they're still in good condition for resale. You know, I understand that not everybody can afford new parts, so I like to help the community by offering discounted rates on good used parts. I've got the used grip from the left side of the bike. Unfortunately, I can't give you the other one. I have to use that, but this one is in good shape. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is a 9 out of 10 condition. We've got the pegs, the foot pegs that are basically new, a chain slider, and a reusable cotter pin. Individually, I was going to ask like $89.95 a piece, whichever one of these ones that you want, or you could buy them as a lot of all 4 for $980. $980 is fair. Speaking of new parts, since we're going to focus on the design aspect of this build, I've got some brand new plastics here, and as you can see, they got here in great condition. The shipping company did a really good job. You can see specifically this one came here absolutely flaw-free. No damage to the box whatsoever. Anyways, let's get these bad boys opened. If you can't tell, we've got a Polysport kit. We'll pop this one open first. I've been dying to look at these things. People were asking in the last video when I filmed the series, the first video, and it was I think it was at the end of February, mid-February maybe. And yeah, so it was a couple months ago, and I bought these. I just couldn't wait, dude. I just looked at the packing slip. It said February 22nd. And I've been dying to look at these things, man, to see the color in person. Oh, man. Let's see, it's like a, well, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see because it's in the plastic bag, but it's like a gray. It's like a battleship kind of gray. And then we've got a second box. Oh, Mike, why is there 2 boxes of the same freaking thing? Well, that's because I really wanted extra packing material. Actually, the real reason, damn it, it's too tall. Oh, check out that, dude. Fluorescent yellow. I want to do a 2-tone paint job, plastic job, if you will. And it required buying 2 sets. Dude, this color is super vibrant. I hope that the camera picks this up the way that it looks in person. I'll get like at least 1 piece of each out of the bag so that you guys can see what it looks like not in the plastic. And I'll put the 2 colors next to each other. You'll see it's gonna look sweet. Oh man, look at these colors, dude. We've got the fluorescent yellow and the battleship gray next to each other. Can you see? I'm gonna show you guys in a moment the idea that I have in my head for the color scheme, but I think these 2 colors are gonna go together really nice, and it'll have a very different color scheme than what the typical KTM would have. I just kind of put the 2 tail fenders here because I feel like they give you a good idea what they look like. Got the number plates here. It's kind of cool how these Acerbis ones come. The one set is Acerbis, the other one is Polysport. And if I had to pick one of the brands, I think I'd choose the Acerbis because it has the little hanger here, and that just kind of makes me feel like I own my very own retail store, and that makes me feel good about myself. Even though technically the Polysport one has the hanger there too. You know, this is the important stuff that you need to take into consideration when choosing aftermarket products. But seriously though, I did like the way that the Acerbis ones were packaged. It came in like a heavy-duty drawstring bag. It says Acerbis on there. It's just kind of cool. It's like one of those nice things. You know, like the experience of getting new parts is always nice. The Polysport ones are very nice too, though. They have these nice kind of heavy-duty bags to keep them nice and protected and as scratch-free as possible. I also got some other cool parts like this Wassner piston. I had the cylinder replated by Millennium Technologies. We got a new Cometic gasket kit that came right from Wassner as well as a Wassner rod kit that is already installed on the old crank. If you remember, that one was nice and stiff. It was not ready to be used, so I sent this off to Power Sports Nation, and it came back in the mail, freshly rebuilt. But we're going to take a closer look at that in another video. Let's hop over to the computer, and I want to give you guys an idea of what I have going on in my head for the color scheme and the graphics of this build. It's going to be freaking sweet. You know what time it is, guys. It's time to do the design for this KTM 350 XCF. You're going to have to excuse my hair, man. I'm in mad scientist mode. I feel like it's kind of appropriate for this. Okay, so let's hop on the computer here. Got a little sneak peek of our KTM template. So I got this picture right here off of the internet. Now it is a 450 XCF. I don't know if you guys can see there. It's a 450 XCF. I couldn't find a nice clean picture of a 350 XCF, but they basically look pretty much the same. It's a 2018 and everything. So we're good to go. You can see it's got decals on the forks, the factory decals on the side, the little 450 XCF, and down here on the fork guards. And if we get rid of that and we go into Photoshop, I've already done a little bit of work. So you can see there are no decals on this thing. I cleaned up the forks, so they're bare. Cleaned up the fork guards, all the factory decals on the side and stuff. They're all removed. And I also traced all of the components that I want to manipulate. So if you guys have seen my other videos where I design color schemes, I basically trace each and every little part of this. And if we turn this off right here, you can see these are all the pieces that we can manipulate. All the other stuff we're not touching. I could manipulate that if I want to, but these are the parts that I basically want to change the colors to. And you can see we can turn things on and off, and we'll be able to change the colors of all of these things. So we're pretty much set and ready to rock and roll. Now it might be kind of difficult matching those plastics that we have. So what I'm going to do is pull up the listing right here, and we're going to see if we can match that fluorescent yellow. Fluorescent yellow can be really difficult to match on the computer screen. And just, I don't know, it's just one of those colors that's kind of difficult. I want to see them both on the same monitor here, because that's the other thing. Sometimes like one monitor, the colors are a little bit different than the other one. We're going to see if we can match them perfectly. So right here we have our colors. So we will go to the front fender right here, and hue and saturation. We're going to hit colorize. We can change the color to anything we want. It's actually really cool. If you guys have never seen my videos where I do this, I can get carried away having a lot of fun doing this stuff. So we're going to go to a yellow, turn the saturation up, and that's like a Suzuki yellow right there. And we'll brighten it up a little bit. Let's see if we can find, oh, let's bump this up just a little bit. That definitely has the neon yellow look. Will it be better if we saturate this, desaturate? I think saturated, we're getting pretty close. Maybe darken this a little bit. Oh, dude. That's pretty good, man. I'd say that's on the mark. So we've got this color all good. Now let's go to the Nardo Gray. Okay, so here is the Nardo Gray color. Let's match that. We want it to be gray, so we're going to take all the saturation out of it. It's already white, so... and now we'll darken it. We'll see if we can get... That's pretty dang close. Maybe a little bit darker. Right about there. Yeah, that looks good to me, man. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but that definitely looks good. So we're good on colors. Let's just go ahead and change some of the colors and just see what it looks like, because sometimes the image that I have in my mind, it doesn't translate to the computer quite as well as I think it will. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably put you guys in a time lapse, and let's get one color scheme up and going. I'll show you guys the one that I have in my head. I think it's gonna be pretty sick. You got to admit, that looks pretty freaking trick. So I don't want it, because I know there's going to be some people that are like, dude, those are husky colors. They are husky colors, but it doesn't really give me the husky vibe. And something that I changed at the very last moment was the forks. I wasn't planning to do those in this titanium blue color, but honestly, I think that titanium blue color, it kind of goes with the color scheme. So I'm gonna do a couple other schemes, and then I want to do them on my own, and then we'll put them up and we can compare and contrast. That's what makes this really fun, is because, you know, in your mind, oh, I didn't even change the front number plate. Although honestly, in white, it doesn't look bad. We could change that. And the other thing I need to change is the seat. So I'll probably change that on my own, or we could just change it right now, because let's not be lazy, right? Being lazy is just not a good idea. So we'll colorize that and go to 65. We'll see if that's even the right color for going over top of black. Turn the saturation up and let's brighten it up. Oh, dude. That's pretty trick. I like that a lot. And I can make it so that like the side is gray or the side is yellow and the top is gray. We can change up all kinds of stuff, but that doesn't look like a KTM. And that's kind of my goal. If you guys follow any of my builds, I really like to make my stuff super unique and stuff that, you know, we've never really seen before. And this does not say KTM, if you ask me. All right, let me do a couple of these designs on my own, and we'll take a look at them. All right, so I bounced around a couple ideas and I came up with two final decisions. I'm pretty certain that this is the way I'm gonna go. So this is one of them. This is actually the one that I don't think I'm gonna choose, but you guys know I like to give you guys a little bit of options. So there will be a poll on Instagram. So this is the other option. Basically, these are the same. The only thing I did is I inversed the plastics. So I do have a picture right here with the two side by side. And you can see, same exact thing, just this one has the fluorescent yellow in the front, the fluorescent yellow on the frame, and then it turns to the Nardo gray, which I've been calling it Battleship gray, but the actual color is actually Nardo gray. And then this one down here, it's the Nardo gray and turns into the fluorescent yellow. And the frame is gray also. So I'm more partial to the fluorescent yellow being the more dominant color, just because it's so different and it pops so much. So that's the one that I like, but I'll put these both up on Instagram. You guys can vote and let me know which one you like. And as you can see, I did a number of little things on here too. You can see I added the FMF. I actually already purchased that. And I put some, I wasn't anticipating the titanium blue color. If you guys followed the Z400 series, that's the same color that was on the valve cover. I think it's gonna look really good on the forks, on the stator cover. And then just little things like the kickstand, I have the sprocket, and then I did bronze on the caliper, front and rear, bronze on the linkage, bronze on the shifter, just little stuff like that. I think those little accents like that they add a little bit of detail and make things unique. I just think that's gonna look really good. Now the color scheme is one thing, but arguably more important is the graphics. And you guys know I like to have a story with all of my builds, and this KTM has no shortage of stories, man. So it was owned by Mike Leo. If you watch the first video where I picked it up, Mike is what I would consider kind of a bit of a local legend. He was a racer for a long time, and he's been riding his whole life. Between him and the owner before him, Hank, I think Kanabe, sorry if I'm butchering your name, man, but both of these guys were excellent riders. So he sent me a number of emails after we got done talking. He was telling me all kinds of stories and stuff. And it's pretty clear that riding has been a part of Mike's life pretty much for the whole thing. He sent me this. This is a picture of the type of bike that one of his first bikes, which a Suzuki 50 Guaco. I've never even heard of that. But he's been riding forever. This is a picture of him on a 76 YZ125. I'm not sure how old he is in this picture, but he looks like, I don't know, like 13 or something, maybe even younger. And then this is on a 79 YZ125. I mean, just like really old school pictures. You can see just the gear that he's wearing. He's got like a dust mask on, it looks like, old school goggles, and just like super old school, man. So he's been in the game for a really long time. And just from the stuff that he sent me, you can see he's all about the sport, man. And he must have been an excellent rider, because in his emails he said he rode B, and he even worked his way up to A, and he was featured in Trail Rider magazine. These are some of the pictures, I believe, from the magazine. So anybody who's featured in a magazine, man, in my book, you are a legend. This is an old school picture. Check this out, man. It's a Mako, an old Mako dirt bike, number 59. That's freaking sweet, man. But he said he used to ride motocross back in his 20s. Another picture of Mike with his buddies. Looks like when he was much younger. There was one email in here that really stood out to me. You can see, I mean, this has just been a part of his life. Riding has just been a big part of his life. Oh, wait a second. This is our bike right here, dude. That's the 350 that we had down in the garage, probably before it blew up. So we got to bring her back, man. But this one email here, he says, the best part and the most important part of riding is riding buddies. So this really is what speaks to me the most about this bike and just the whole experience. Because if you're in any type of riding group, whether it's dirt bikes, quads, side-by-sides, you know that's what it's all about, man. You go out riding with your buddies and stuff, and you just make great memories. And you can see that's what Mike's been doing his whole life, man. So to me, this is legendary, and that's why I want the theme of this bike to be legend. So we've got a nice base here, and I've got something in my mind. I think I know what I want to do, but sometimes it can be difficult getting what's in my head onto the computer. So I'm going to throw you guys in a time lapse. We're going to see if we can do this thing some justice. So here they are, man. This was not easy. If you saw in the time lapse, I started with an entirely different design, tore it down, restarted again. I actually restarted 3 times before I finally came to a design that I really like. And that's just kind of how it works out when you're doing graphic design. You know, just like I said, having something in your head and putting it on paper can sometimes be a little bit different, or on the screen rather. So there's a couple things in here that have some meaning. And I'm going to show you real quick. This is our side cover, this is the airbox cover, and then the airbox cover kind of combines as the side panel cover and the little tail fin back here. But up front, I've got kind of like this custom little design here. It says Legend, and then in the background, the lettering, I think if I hover over that, you'll be able to see, it says Legend. So of course all of that's cut off and stuff, but it's just kind of part of the design. And now this is going to be my bike, so it's, you know, I have to make some history with this thing too, but I did want to include some of the heritage. And what you might notice here, so Mike's old number was 39. So I took the E and the G in Legend and I flipped them. I put them backwards and it makes it look like 39. So it's got the 39 in the graphics, kind of having some of the history of the bike in there. Of course, it's totally different design and everything, totally different colors. And I've got, oh, something's missing there. It's supposed to say designed by. I have to get that in there, but down here on this one, you can see it. I got to put my name on there somewhere. I got designed by Michael Sabo. And otherwise, it's pretty simple. I didn't want to go too crazy with, you know, getting too busy with the design and everything. On the front, I just put the colors in there a little bit, and I've got Legend. That'll be right there on the front fender. And in the front for the fork guards, I've got Rocket Ron Racing on there. I don't think Rocket Ron's going to be actually doing the suspension. I'd really like to do the suspension on this one. This will be my first time rebuilding shocks, but I'm sure that I'm going to be talking to Ron a lot. He's going to be walking through a lot of that stuff. So I wanted to put Ron's stuff on there. And of course, we've got Hermosi on the swing arm. We're going to be doing some Hermosi wheels, Hermosi SBC 720s, and some other stuff too. I'm not 100% sure which companies are going to hop on board, so I didn't put like all of the sponsors and their stuff on here just yet. I've also got to do the number plates. I'm not sure if I'm going to run the headlight or if I'm going to do the motocross style just yet. And the tail fin, I'm just going to put the sponsors there. So those I didn't finish yet, but now we're going to do the most satisfying part of putting these graphics on, because it is a pain in the ass designing these things sometimes, and you got to do something that really brings it all together and makes it worth it. So we're going to take these, and together we're going to put them on the bike. So this is pretty cool. We're going to edit. Can we paste here? We'll paste as pixels. Just seeing these come to life is really, really satisfying. So we'll size these down. Tilt this a little bit. Gotta just fit this to the plastics. And now we can use the warp tool to kind of make it look like these are natural on here. All right, there it is, man. Front decal is on there. That looks pretty good, man. I'm telling you, I was getting really frustrated with the original design I was working with, and I was starting to come to the conclusion that I was just not going to get this one right. But that looks pretty good. Let's get the rest of them on there. Dude, you got to admit, that looks pretty legendary. I am super happy with this. You guys got to let me know in the comments section below what you think of this color scheme, if you think it's going to come out all right, or would you change something? Because I am open to suggestions. All of my build designs, you know, we're very early on in the project. Everything is subject to change. Some people I know will say like wheel colors, but I really want to run the Hermosi wheels, and I think they only come in black. We could take the spokes out and have them anodized a different color or something like that, but I think black's where it's at for this one, man. I think it looks legit. Well, guys, I'm gonna check out. It's almost midnight, and as you can guess, I'm pretty freaking hungry. It's time to get some food and go to sleep for the night. But we've got our work cut out for us. I'm gonna have to go over all of the parts, clean everything up, and basically what I'll be doing is looking for anything that needs to be replaced or anything that's missing so that I can order up the parts and get this project moving. I'll weld up that frame, get that all ready to rock and roll to send it out for powder coat at Bonehead Performance. And of course, we've got to gather up all of our bolts and stuff and get that stuff ready for Moto Blast so we can have everything re-zinc coated. If you enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form, please give me a thumbs up. That helps me out tremendously. Make sure to go back and check out the first video if you didn't see the video where I bought this KTM. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video, and also check out the extra channel, which is Michael Sabo Extra, where I have bonus content, and there may be some stuff on the KTM on that channel as well. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. I gotta go eat. I'm freaking starving.